everyone, and welcome to the Prince Magnum channel, where hot rodding and romance do coexist. I'm your host, Prince Magnum. Welcome to, kind of an off-the-chain Save the World tutorial. We've done one like this a long time ago, probably like a year, maybe a year and a half ago, something like that, where we did one where we created this really awesome, couple awesome weapons, and it was a lot of fun, and we had a great time doing it. And I know a lot of people kind of learned some stuff from that, and we had a lot of fun, but we're going to do one. We're going to do one again, but this one's going to be more focused towards our folks that are fairly new to Save the World, because a lot more people are starting to play Save the World now. Which is really awesome. I'm really glad to see that the community for Save the World over here on Fortnite is growing the way that it's growing. If you like Battle Royale but you want a little bit more story, yeah, I definitely recommend Save the World. Now, I will warn you, there are times it's a little buggy, but it's still a lot of fun. You still get the builds that you enjoy over on, like you would in, regular Battle Royale, but with a little bit more strategy involved, and you're fighting NPCs, so you don't have to always deal with players that are hacking the game and basically cheating because they're not actually that good. So, something to think about, So now that we've kind of covered that, if you're if you're fairly new to the game and maybe you're just getting your feet wet, one of the first things that I need to talk about is, a lot of folks are familiar, who watch the streams, are very familiar with my armory. The infamous Bright Core Judge that I use, Cinnamon's Sunbeam Judge. A lot of folks really think that one's awesome, and of course, who can forget, Jack's Revenge. These are awesome weapons, and if you've run with me, you're familiar with my Maverick shotguns, the Thunderbolt shotguns that I use. A lot of folks aren't familiar with these, and of course, there's other weapons that people have kind of know exist, but it's like you don't think about it. The Cyclops, is one of those that comes to mind. The Tiger is another one that comes to mind. The Ghost Pistol that I enjoy, it comes to mind. These are, again, just to name a few. And of course, I've got several other guns to choose from that are 130 and above. Because I'm the firearms guy on this game. It's just what I do. Again, just some really awesome weapons. The Wraith. We'll come over here to schematics so you guys can get a better look at them. These are just to name a few, okay? Basically, most of you would call that, the FN SCAR with a suppressor on it, so that's, basically the Wraith. They're pretty cool weapons, and these are, of course, in Legendary. Now, I know some of you are going to, if you're just starting off, scroll down the list of all the schematics that I have that maybe I might get to building sometime, maybe I won't. Maybe this is going to be more what you've got. They're going to start you off with like the Predator, the Breacher, the Ruler Sword, and the Vigilante. That's, your starter weapons, alright? These you cannot level, okay? You can't level them. They don't go up to, the 130, which is the soft cap, and 144, which is, the final cap. You can't level these. But you'll play a few rounds, and then the next thing you know, you've got some new schematics, and maybe it might look a little like this. The Vigilante, it's green, it's not been touched, okay? And you're like, okay, well, it's the start of my armory. And then you might go into a starter, another one of the starter zones, and you might be running with somebody, and all of a sudden they're pulling out, something that isn't like this. Maybe they're pulling out something, maybe like maybe like the Bobcat here, my P90. They pull out something like that, and it's fully upgraded, and it's got all the superchargers, and it just mows everything down, and you're sitting there feeling like a noob. Okay? Don't fret, okay? Most of the time, these folks, they're not hacking the game, obviously. They know somebody who's given them the weapons. And unless they know someone like me who builds a lot of the weapons or builds a lot of the traps, most likely they know somebody who's probably, there's an excellent chance they're duping. Okay? There's an excellent chance. Well, they're not going to be as good as you, because even though you're starting off, maybe you don't have a whole lot in the way of friends playing, don't panic, okay? This schematic is all you need to start with, and I'll explain. Now, if you're going to, you know, and again, even if that's not what you end up with, maybe you end up with something like this here, you know, the Knight, okay? It's a gray weapon, and maybe sometime we'll do a starter tutorial for you on the Knight, or maybe you get the gray version of the Breacher like this, which I really wish there was a gold version of this. I really like that. That looks awesome. Okay, maybe you get lucky enough and you get something like that in in a gray. Okay, the same rules will still apply to what I'm going to show you here. Okay, and eventually we will do tutorials building some of these other weapons. It'll be really a lot of fun. But let's start off with, because I do a lot of pistol loadouts, let's start off with this. This is all you need to start with. Okay, and this is going to be kind of a two-part video, and it makes sense when the second part comes, because we're going to actually test this weapon in the second part. Alright? But the first part I'm just showing you, okay? Now when you get to the map, you're going to be starting off here in Stonewood. Now, until you get out of Stonewood, you're really not going to be able to do a whole lot, okay? So once you do this mission here, launch the rocket, and you get to this zone right here, you're not going to be able to do a whole lot of changes to weapons. This is Plankerton, so your best bet is you're just going to be able to get whatever weapon you have up to level 10. Okay, but don't panic. That's totally fine. All right, that's totally fine. So you've got the, maybe you've got a green, maybe you got a blue, whatever you're lucky enough to get your hands on. Once you get out of that zone, you get out of Stonewood. That's your objective. Just get out of Stonewood. All right? You get out of Stonewood, and you can start really upgrading weapons. But as you can see right here, this has crit damage and durability. Okay? Once you get out of that zone, you'll be able to do a whole lot more. And you'll be able to start doing stuff like this. Again, this is all you need to start with. Gray, the blue would be better, but green is just fine, okay? Gray, tomato, tomato. If you really want to be that hardcore in building your own weapon, fine, go for it, okay? But this is pretty much what it's going to look like for you, okay? That's going to be your pistol. Level 15, maybe level 20, whatever the case may be. Blue, gray, that's what it's going to look like when you get out of, Stonewood. That's what your starter pistols, the best in your inventory is going to look like. But then you're going to be given the capability of building, making modifications. And you're going to be able to do something, say, like this. We can take that green and turn it into a blue. So totally do that. Alright. That's going to be your weapon. Okay. As you start in the Plankerton zone. Okay. And then you're going to get the capability of, modifying this weapon even further. Now, I'm going to show you real quick over here in the llama shop. Alright.
So look
you're gonna get these tickets. Buy the stuff as often as you can, okay? And do your venture stuff, because you can get all sorts of cool stuff out of the llamas here. But this particular shop, you could buy the chips that upgrade your weaponry, and start buying this stuff as much as you can, especially these here and these here. You want to start buying those right away. These and these, okay? They're going to be super beneficial, excuse me. And of course, get these as often as you can, because that little thing that I just did where I turned it into the blue, rare flux, you're going to need that. 100 of those plus a few other little things, and you can start modifying your weapon, okay, once you get into Plankerton. Okay, let's come down here, and there's our blue pistol. You get enough, you know, now that you're at this point, you can now maybe crank it up. Okay, you get to the end of Plankerton. Oh, there's your pistol. Okay, by the end of Plankerton, that should be your pistol, and you know, you can start modifying it a little bit more. Okay, let's take a look here. All right, it's in silver, and remember, you know, we could do all sorts of cool stuff. All right, let's go ahead and give it a bigger magazine size. Now we can give it weapon stability, but it's a pistol. It's going to be close range anyways. Okay, so I never bother with that. You've got the heavy physical and all that. Fine, whatever. Okay. You know, whatever floats your boat. Me personally, in this case, it's a magazine-fed weapon. Reload speed, you should already pretty well have that with a magazine-fed weapon. If it was a revolver, I would say, yeah, go with reload speed, okay? So we're going to go with magazine size. We're going to give it a larger magazine capacity. Over here, let's go ahead and give it critical rating, okay? Let's start thinking in-game stuff, all right? Let's start thinking in-game stuff. So now we've got it to this stage, and maybe that's your pistol by the end of Plankerton. Okay, check that out. That is actually not that bad. Okay, that's really not that bad. If you look right here, I mean, you know, with my pistol loadout, yeah, it's going to look a little higher than that. But I mean, these are not bad. These are not bad numbers for, you know, a pistol that's kind of mid-zone. Okay. Maybe you've been lucky enough, though. Maybe you've spent a little bit of time kind of building up a little bit, and you've got enough of the, you know, the epic flux right here to kind of take it up to epic. Okay, so the purple. Oh, looky there. Okay, we've got all this room. Now, I'm going to have to kind of go off, you know, kind of go to, you know, maybe go get some actual, you know, spanners or wrenches, you know, to kind of finish this out. But you guys will get the general idea from here, okay? But if you're saving up your gold and buying the fluxes as they come in the shop, get as much as you can. Get the pure drops of rain and all the other stuff that I've been, you know, that you always see me talking about in the live streams. Okay, before you know it, maybe this, you know, maybe as you're, you know, you start getting into, maybe you're getting into the, you know, Canny Valley. You're coming to the end of Plankerton. Maybe this is your weapon. Okay, if you've stuck with it long enough and hard enough. All right. Which, by the way, this is now the Jackal. And I would say that's, you know, again, the numbers here don't lie. This is not a bad pistol. Now, if you play your cards right, and you get all of that rare, the rare flux, and and then the legendary flux, that's your pistol. Okay, you know, by the time you're getting all the way through, you know, you're coming through Canny Valley, and you're looking ahead, you're doing ventures, you're looking at Twine Peaks. You know, by the end of, you know, here we are now in Malachite Tier 3. Okay, the numbers don't lie. This looks like a solid running pistol. Okay, solid running pistol. Alright, now what makes this pistol so much special than the one that you've seen in the starter zone that somebody just pulled out? You know this pistol. You know it because you've been building it yourself. Okay, you'll know what it can do and what it can't do. So, is this a bad pistol? Hell no, it's not. If anything, it's better than the one that you've seen pulled out, because by the time you get into Twine Peaks and you know, you're looking ahead at Tier 4, okay? And I mean, again, you know, here we are, the top of Tier 3, you're looking ahead Tier 4. Now, here's the juncture that might, it's a tomato situation, okay? If you, when you're looking ahead for Tier 4, because this will also determine your Tier 5, alright? You have your Obsidian and your Shadow Shard, okay? Shadow Shard does a whole lot more damage than Obsidian, but Shadow Shard doesn't have the long-lasting life. Obsidian, on the other hand, has a longer life, just not as much damage. So here's the quandary. Now, in the early stages of Twine Peaks, it's going to be easy to get Obsidian, and of course this will eventually turn into Bright Core. Over here, Shadow Shard turns into Sunbeam. Sunbeam is a little easier to get towards the end, whereas Bright Core is a little bit, kind of midway through, you see a lot more Bright Core. Now, I'll kind of give you an example. We'll back out of here for a second. You know, back out of our build here. Might help if I go to the map. And if you kind of look, you kind of look here, and as you're kind of going through the zone, there's your Obsidian. Some of them might show a little bit of Shadow Shard. Be honest with you, I don't even see a whole lot of that. But you guys kind of get the general idea. Like some of your zones that you'll go to, you know, like some of your resupply zones. Like here, there's your Sunbeam. You might get 4 of them, okay? You know, you might get lucky enough and get like 4 of them. There's a mission with Bright Core. That's kind of a mid-level mission. So, tomato. I'll be honest with you, if this is going to be the pistol that's going to be carrying you through levels, and as you're leveling, you're probably not going to have a whole lot in the way of resources. So I would definitely consider going directly to, you know, going to something like, you know, I would definitely consider staying with Obsidian, going into Bright Core, because it's going to be the weapon that kind of levels you. Now, that doesn't mean other weapons, yeah, go ahead. But this is the one that, you know, you've kind of been, you know, this is just my suggestion. I say go whatever route's going to make you the most comfortable. But the greatest example I have in this case is my Judge. My Judge is, this one right here is the original one that I really started building, and it's my, you know, my favorite pistol that I built. Right behind it is, of course, the Bright Core Maverick. These two guns carried me all pretty much from like the beginning. You know, I mean, I would definitely say they kind of once I got them, which was kind of like the beginning of, I would say like the beginning of Plankerton, I kind of got these. So by the end of Plankerton, I'm going into Canny Valley, those two guns really carried me. And ironically, there you go, Bright Core. So I would say if this is going to be the one that's carrying you, I would strongly suggest going ahead and going Bright Core because it lasts a little while, okay? That's just me. But again, tomato. And as a matter of fact, we'll even put this on our favorites list, okay? So now that we've kind of talked about that, that's exactly what we're going to go ahead and do. We're going to turn this into the Obsidian, and of course, we'll take it to the end right there, and you guys get the general idea. Of course, there's our Bright Core. And this is going to almost be like a two-parter, so when we come back, obviously this is going to be fully upgraded, but you guys get the general idea, okay? This one here, when we talk about upgrades, I know that I'm definitely going to go ahead and go damage to mist monsters. So when you guys see this again, when we come back, kind of for the next part of this, this is going to be damage to mist monsters. So I'm going to have to go out and do some farming and all that, because this pistol has obviously got a little bit of ways to go. But by the time you're getting into Twine Peaks, this is pretty well going to be what you're going to be rocking and rolling with that starter pistol, okay? Now, again, by the time you're getting close to doing Storm King, you're going to know this pistol inside and out. You're going to know this better. So those guys you've seen all the way back at the very beginning who's throwing, like, yeah, man, look at the weapons I've got. You're going to know this pistol better than anything. And by the time you get to, you'll have friends you'll be trading all this with. Hey, this is the one I started with. It's my best friend in the game. And you talk to anybody who's up around the 120, the level 120 marker, they'll have like a pistol that's, they'll have a weapon they'll swear up and down was their best friend carrying them through all the levels. As a matter of fact, I met a guy that this was his go-to. He was telling me when I started the game, this became my assault rifle. This assault rifle I love. I have a soft spot in my heart because it took me through all of my missions. Interesting. Ironically enough, the shotgun and pistol that carried me, the Judge and the Maverick. Okay? I know my dear friend Bad, who I have not talked to in a while since the making of this video. It was the Tiny Instrument of Death and Stabsworth the Third, which I have a Stabsworth and I could show it to you guys. This, which I'm still building it, this little blade right here, okay, which is basically the kukri, and he'll tell you he's got a soft spot in his heart because it carried him through all of his missions. Okay, so again, I'm just showing you an example of one that you can build. It could be your best friend through all the missions. Does it have to be that way? Could it be anything? Of course it can. Of course it can. It could be pretty well anything. Just kind of be careful. There's a few of them that, ironically enough, if you come over to the collection book, you'll get an idea of what I'm talking about. Watch your trees here. Like this particular gray will turn into this green, and then it'll turn into this blue, and that sort of thing. This blue can turn into this purple, and then of course this particular legendary, and so on and so on. Well, occasionally in a few of them, like this gray turns into this, this green, and then it turns into this blue, but it does go past that blue. So you've got a problem. This is a problem, because that does you no good whatsoever beyond this point. So that's no good to you, okay? This green turns into this blue turns into that. Recognize it? Okay, so just watch your, watch your collection book if you're not 100% sure. Like this 6-shooter turns into this green, and then this green turns into this blue, and there's nothing after that, okay? But you can legit follow this tree, which also kind of helped me with this particular video. Up here, the Junkyard Pal turns into this one, and then this one, and then it turns into Bolt. That may be your grab. This particular sniper rifle turns into this one, and so on and so on, and ta-da, looky there. As a matter of fact, over here in my schematics, you can actually see that same one in that tree right there. Check that out. Isn't that awesome? And that might have been your starter weapon right there. Don't know. Is it? Okay. Let's take a look at shotguns, because everyone knows me for my shotguns. Okay. Let's come over here to ranged weapons, and here's our shotguns. Take a look. Pump action shotguns. You can literally follow it, and maybe that was your starter shotgun. I don't know. Is it? Maybe, just think about it along those lines, okay? And again, what I'm stressing right now is just because it's not that, that cool 130 or 144 that somebody whips out and starts blowing the crap out of everything in those starter levels, which, again, Epic Games is still kind of, if you've seen any of my other videos, Epic Games is starting to deal with duping, which is basically cheating. There's an excellent chance that may be how they got it. I don't know. I'm just, throwing that out there. Maybe they know a friend that's like me and just builds weapons and thinks it's fun. Whatever the case may be, just know that by building it the way that I'm showing you here, again, by the time that we come back, that this it will get a fade. This will be a 130 weapon, which, I guess I can go ahead and just do this real quick for you guys so I don't have to, cut away too much. We'll recycle this real quick. There we go. Oh, there we go. Again, maybe, again, this is your weapon. And, here we are. We're getting to the end. There's our bright core, okay? And, let's take a look. Maybe I can do a little bit more. No, I'll have to go out and quickly get some spanners. But by the time we come back, we're going to test this weapon, okay? And, of course, it'll have all the perks that we want, but you guys will get the general idea. So, all right, like my cooking videos right here on YouTube, we're going to fold time and space. So I will see all of you in just a brief moment. All right, folks, we kind of did a fade section because, I had to go get a few more supplies. So I guess you could say this is like part 2 of the same freaking video. Anyhow, here is our bright core judge that we were building in the first half. And if you remember, this is the weapon that started off as a green. Okay, so here it is in all its glory. And here are the final perks that we went with, okay? Now, I really like this particular core perk, so that's what we're going to roll with. Now, from here, we need to test this weapon. And wouldn't you know it, I already have one. And in the background is our special guest that I knew would be glad to join us in the testing of this brand new pistol, Mr. Spirit Wolf Ian. How are you doing today?
I am doing fabulous, thank you.
Well, I asked you along for this weapon test because you've tested a lot of my weapons.
I have indeed, yes.
And so you've got one in hand now, Bright Core Judge, and we're going to review what started off as a green schematic, and it turned it into a blue and built it up, just as someone might do who's just starting the game. Yes. We're going to see how this turns out. So we've got we've actually selected a 108 eliminate and collect. So let's dive in head first. Let's hit this mission really hard, like so hard that we get a concussion. That's how hard we're going to hit it, with our heads. I can cut that bullshit. That just
oh god. Okay.
I can cut that if it doesn't work. We might just leave it. We might just leave it. Oh man. You know, every once in a while, even I have a joke that falls dead. You know, gotta have a test audience.
Biting my lip then.
No, it's good. I want a little crack up because I mean I've been too dang serious through this whole video. But it works out. It works out.
Most definitely, yes.
As the filming of this video, we have a massive thunderstorm in the area, so one of two things is going to happen. Either A, I could lose power, B, we could just get through the mission, but at some point if I get you hear and then all of a sudden my surge protector quit working. You can call me Sparky after that.
We've got an opportunity to strike an approaching horde. Get ready for a fight.
Here we go.
10 minutes to take out as many husks as possible. If you bag enough husks, we win. If you don't, we don't. Don't forget to collect those husk and mist monster samples. Strike hard, strike fast, strike fear into the heart of the horde. Don't forget, the storm is closing in, so watch the map. Bonus objectives are in play.
Dang. It's not bad. Not bad at all.
Especially with headshot damage, it's really good.
The way that this is designed, when you kill something, it causes a cone of shrapnel behind the target,
Yeah.
and will cause damage to whatever's behind it.
Magazine size is perfect as well.
And because it's such a small, compact weapon anyways, it does an amazing job laying down
Oh, I see you playing in my area. I think the best thing about this weapon is just as soon as you aim straight away and just get constant head damage, the numbers are amazing.
and this started off as a greenie. You know, a green weapon. This is how it started. It took me a moment to kind of get used to what it does.
I
Not
think
gonna lie.
it's perfect. It is perfect.
It's a fine weapon. Okay, it powers through shields really well. Wow. I can totally live with that. Firing over my shoulder? And, I mean, honestly,
Storm's closing in.
it's a great weapon. Damage is solid, and it's a bright core. Everyone talks about how Sunbeam's the best damage.
And it only takes half a clip to kill a mist monster.
The only time it doesn't do its job is when I miss. Damn. Yeah, they just kept coming.
Monsters coming. They're attacking. Please help. Thank you.
Got another survivor. Alright, I'll be right there. Not bad. Not bad at all. We'll definitely take that. And see, everyone talks about, and you've heard all the arguments that
regarding different weapon types and stuff like that.
Yeah, that Sunbeam is the better of the two, and yet
yes,
these pistols are doing just fine. So, come on. Oh, we got it. I'm happy with it. And again, it started off as a green schematic and built it from the ground up.
I can definitely agree. I am totally happy with it. I could be using this all the time.
And the way it just goes through those big guys. There we go. Look at that. The range is solid.
It's getting too dangerous. I have to pull you out now.
Not bad. So, your rundown on it.
Well, my rundown is, as I went in blind and just equipped it straight away without looking at the perks. The range is perfect, magazine's perfect, aiming straight away, constant head damage, you're going to get gold numbers straight away. Perfect for mist monsters and haven't tried bosses or a smasher yet, but other mist monsters is perfect.
Yeah.
No complaints whatsoever. I can definitely be using it quite a lot.
Now, as I said, with you joining, this pistol started its life off as a green schematic. Just found it in a llama. It's what any new person coming into the game could easily start with. And we built it into this fine weapon. As a starter would, but of course, obviously, we rushed the job a little bit, because we don't feel like following it that far, it's several, videos down the road, but you get the idea. Yeah. It started its life off as a common, uncommon, the green, schematic. And then by, building it up, this is something that somebody would probably start off with easily in, say, somewhere like, in Stonewood. By the time they get to the end of Stonewood, they could turn it into, they could easily, if they're, it's a weapon they want to keep, they could turn it into the blue, and then the epic, because by the, you remember, all through Stonewood, you might be lucky and get a blue, or maybe a purple, and you'd work with it a little bit, but it's not gonna, by the time I was to the end of Plankerton, that's when we had the Maverick and the Judge, and and you and I have rocked those weapons forever and a day. But
and we're still using them too. We're still using them now. We've never left the Maverick. We still use it quite a lot.
I think I've changed it maybe twice. That original schematic, I've changed it twice. It has continued to stay the same Maverick shotgun that that started off with me in Plankerton, and the only two changes, the original version of it, if I remember correctly, the original version of that Maverick shotgun, it started off as a water element, and then I, on a suggestion from Bad, turned it over to energy, an energy element, which, in all honesty, it has performed and performed well for us all this time.
Yeah.
That was, and so that was the first change I made, and then I changed its core reperk to an increased impact by 25% and stun duration increased by 1 second. So that's it.
Yeah.
And it has performed well for us. And we're very partial to that particular weapon. And then, of course, the Bright Core Judge, I've made changes throughout, but that's the same Bright Core, that's the same schematic I started off with. I would say somewhere right around midway through Plankerton, and it has been one of the finest pistols that we have run this entire time. But now we've got a brand new one, the Bright Core Jackal, which I mean, I had my only complaint is whenever I just wasn't hitting the target, and that's on me,
Yeah.
So I mean, so not bad for starting off as a greenie and being turned into a legendary weapon. So now, for those of you out there, we've had the discussion now. Just because it starts its life off as what the game would call an uncommon weapon, or maybe it starts off as a common weapon, doesn't mean it can't be legendary. So if you're just starting off, now you can build your own. And what makes this so much better than the weapons that are sometimes, that you might see in a starter zone? Most likely, one of two ways those folks got it, and I kind of toyed with saying it in the first part of the video. Most likely, someone came into a zone and just dropped a bunch of weapons because they just need room in their inventory. Or, more than likely, they were duped. They were cheated. So, don't feel bad because you don't have the cool weapon in the starter zone. Just understand that, you're going to be, you're starting off like that, but by the time you get to Twine Peaks, you will know the ins and outs of your weapon better than those guys will. You'll know what your weapon that you started off with, just like a greenie, or maybe you might got lucky enough and got a blue, or more than likely it was a gray, and you will know what it can do, what it can't do. It is considered, in my opinion, it's a superior weapon. Damage numbers doesn't matter, as long as the fact that you know what it can do and what it can't do. And I think that speaks volumes over anything else, and the fact that you'll know what you can do with it, as opposed to what everybody else, just coming in and, oh, this weapon's better. Whatever. So any final thoughts you want to throw in there, Ian?
No, I think you've nailed it to the T.
Like I said, we started off with what we started off with in Plankerton, and obviously we've got a fantastic inventory, but there are some that we're going to go to more than others because of the fact that we know the weapons better. We built them from the ground up, and in some cases, like this bad boy right here, my Bright Core Judge, we know what it could do because of the fact that I started, I got lucky enough and got it when I was in Plankerton, and I had the opportunity. Yeah, it started its life off as a legendary, but I learned what it can do, what it can't do, and by the time we got here to this point, it is a phenomenal weapon, and I can tell you without question that it is one of the superior weapons in my inventory, along with, there's other weapons that I know that probably does a little bit more damage, but this Maverick shotgun, I don't think anybody has ever complained about. It is one of the finest weapons in my inventory. So we're always happy to see it come out of in the armory. And because of those two weapons, I ended up becoming the main weapons builder for our group that we run with. So there's some irony for you. Alrighty, so that brings us to a good stopping point. Folks, get on over, check out the Teespring, and, see what merchandise you might be interested in. There's all sorts of stuff up there to choose from. Along with that, check out the Patreon. $1 a month goes back into the project cars and goes into videos just like this here. But along with that, get out there and work on a project. I don't care what it is. Just do something with yourselves. Remember, idle hands and a creative mind go together like oil and water. If you have a sweetheart, sweep them off their feet and do something special for them today. And as always, for every last one of you out there, if no one out there has told you that they love you today, we over here on the Prince Magnum channel do. God bless you and have a happy 24. Thank you.
I admire your honesty. Hell, I like you. You can come over to my house and fuck my sister.